Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Hearts of Iron 4. This is the Kaiserreich mod, and we are here as the United States of America. And I'm sure nothing is possibly going to go wrong with this. Absolutely nothing. So, what are we going to do? Well, we're basically just going to run through. I'm going to, I think, probably react to most of the events coming up in the way that I myself would. And then when it comes to certain decisions about a certain war, which might certainly happen, I'll probably leave it up to a straw poll in order to determine which side it is that we should take. And as I was just saying in chat to people, if the will of the people determines that I should go with a certain red state that is based in the Michigan area, then I might just have to ignore the will of the people, because you know what? This isn't a democracy. So, anyway, we're going to jump in and basically see what is what. We are currently playing with Herbert Hoover. We have got the political crisis. The United States is in crisis. The Great Depression, which has ravaged our nation for over a decade, has still not let up. Popular desperation has allowed the far-left combined syndicates of America and the far-right America First Party to gain strength in recent years. Others look to MacArthur and the army as a way to save both the Depression and radicalization. Many worry that the United States could descend into civil war should our current situation not be resolved, or a radical presidential candidate win in the upcoming 1936 elections. We've also got the Great Depression. Since the collapse of the New York Stock Exchange in 1925, the United States has been gripped by the Great Depression. In addition to the massive economic woes plaguing America from this never-ending crisis, the Great Depression has invigorated political radicals in their campaign against each other and the establishment alike. I feel like there are too many American Caesar influences in this stream. I couldn't possibly comment on that. So, playing as the USA, we could go Bethlehem Steel, which is military factory. Just having a look. Actually, should I really care about this until we... I'm not even going to look at this until we have picked a side. The only one that really matters to us is the election. Then after that, it is basically all promises are off. All bets are off, that's the word. So we could either go with President Reed, President Long, President Garner, or President Curtis. Curtis is the way to avoid the Civil War, so we are not going to be doing that. So that basically leaves us between Garner, Long, or Reed. Garner, I assume, is the more USA-ish. Yeah, he's the Democratic one. Long is, of course, the American Union State, the AUS. And then President Reed is the better red than dead person. So yeah, that's what's going on here. We have to select our technologies. We do actually start with 4 slots, which is rather nice. I think I'm still going to build up the country as if not knowing anything's happening. So this is kind of, without the benefit of hindsight, playthrough that I am such a fan of. And we do have an additional slot here. We won't need synthetic oil. I'm not going to choose a... At least give me my full tank army in this game. That can happen. That can definitely happen. Go with Garner, strong American democracy, strong again. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put up the straw poll now, and we'll let people debate things in the background as we are going. So, I guess your vote can change depending on in-game actions. So you may not want to vote immediately, but at least the option is there. So, which side to take in the war that is certainly not civil. American Union State or the Pacific States of America. If I could spell Pacific. Pacific States of America. Oh, great. I'm going to have to do New England, because it is a thing. Hawaii, because it's a thing. Actually, I'm going to put USA before those. X, V, and then United States of America. Hawaii. All those other guys. There we are. So those are the options. Oh, whoops. And I will put those in the thingy. Gathan, thank you very much for the subscriber. 3 months. Nicely done, buddy. Cheers, thank you. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. I'm going to create the poll, so let me just double check that this is the American Union State, the Pacific States of America, the United States of America, New England, Hawaii, or the other guys. We'll do that. You can only switch to New England as Canada, I thought. I can make things happen. It's fine. So there is the straw poll. Go and vote. Start debating your points. If you want to hedge your bets until things actually happen, you are more than welcome to do that. But if you feel strongly in any of those directions, then do start considering that right now. In the meantime, our final technology is going to be... Oh, we could totally start researching tanks. You know what? We're going to start researching the Stuart. Sure, why not? And then production. So we do have a couple of industrial centres that will be on the northeast coast and also in Michigan. So we'll start building some things there. How's the infrastructure situation looking? Infrastructure in Illinois is a bit poor. Indiana's a bit poor. Pennsylvania's looking good. Maryland's looking good. New Jersey could probably do with a bit more. So we'll start working on those. We should... Oh, right. We actually have no consumer goods, so none of this will matter. So let's just go ahead and... Nah, we'll leave them up. 1, 2, 3... In fact, these will go up to level... Hang on. Let me think about this a bit more. Illinois, because I know Chicago is an important production city. And I think New Jersey is going to be an important one. So we'll select both of those for now. And... Military factories. We've got to make some guns. We've got to make some bigger guns. We've got to make some vroom vrooms. Got to make some support equipment. I think mostly it's going to be guns. And support equipment and artillery. I think that's going to be a fairly good situation. And then Navy. Wow, that is a lot of shipyards. Blimey. We could start working on another aircraft carrier too. Actually kind of like that idea. We'll start working on a new carrier. This is the... I don't know. We'll leave you auto for now. No, auto is a terrible idea. We'll put you into the... Carrier Fleet 1. Yeah. And then destroyers, I guess. Which we will put into the... Seattle. No. I don't know. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to put you in a port. That's an easier way of doing this. Where is the main shipbuilding in this era? Boston? I actually legit don't know. Boston has 2. New York has 2. Actually, it's probably LA. Let's put them in LA. Washington has 2. Or Norfolk. Oh, it's totally going to be Norfolk, isn't it? How many does LA have? That's San Fran. LA has 1. No, it's Norfolk. Alright, we'll put you in Norfolk. Because I do actually know a little bit of American history. Norfolk. You would be Virginia. Virginia! The only level 10 naval yard, so it's obviously Virginia. Alright, so everything's going to go into Virginia. That is magnificent! Norfolk or San Diego? It could be San Diego. San Diego's only a 1. Well, I should really be looking at that. Yeah, it's actually a 10 as well. We'll put them in Norfolk for now. We can always switch later. Who will we be playing in the Civil War skirmish? Well, I would urge you to go and put your thoughts forwards in there, in the straw poll. And also just start debating amongst yourselves, saying, hey, you should go this side, or you should go this side, or whatever. And I may even take those considerations into consideration when going through the events and stuff like that. So we are going to just ram up the playing speed, and we're just going to go vroom, straight forwards. Onwards! Ooh, I haven't said that for a while. And we do have divisions. I don't think... Yeah, we can't touch the divisions anyway. America 1936. The United States in 1936 stands in crisis. The United States was able to escape from the First World War, which allowed its prosperity to continue well into the 1920s. However, the victory by the German Empire and the French and later the British Revolutions would lead to the Wall Street crash in 1925. This sent the United States into the Great Depression and allowed the Berlin stock market to take its place in the world. The election of Herbert Hoover in 1928 showed promise of fixing America. However, Hoover was unable to fix the problems of the Depression. This has fueled the rise of the radical parties in America, from the combined syndicates of America on the far left to the American... It's actually kind of hard doing that at such speed. On the far left and the American First Party in the far right. The fact that Hoover won re-election by the House of Representatives in 1932, and the fact that the Great Depression isn't over, means that problems do not look to be going away soon. Many throughout the country fear that disaster will happen should one of the extreme parties come into power, or nothing is done to solve the Depression. Yeehaw! God save America! And actually, I need to double check if my microphone's too loud. Because it might be. Because I have not fixed that for a while. Levels 76. Perfect. It has not changed. Cool. Right, onwards. Onwards! Slow down, cowboy. This cowboy don't slow down for nobody no how. No, sir. Assassination of President Kerensky. In fact, I might just do the America events in the American accent, just because it's funny. Oh gosh, I'm going to have to bring out the Southern American one as well. Kerensky has just been shot and killed while on the way to the Senate. How barbaric! I have a feeling I might enjoy this series. I have a feeling I might do. The Canadians seem to be garrisoning the border against us. That is terrible, 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 terrible behaviour by those sneaky, sneaky Canadians. And wow, we start really negative in political power. I just noticed how bad that is. Though we do not currently have a national... Right, yeah, we can't have a national focus. Because there are none available. So that is fine. That is literally just going to be ticking away. We are, of course, playing on veteran. I have not tweaked any of the countries for sizes, armies, that type of thing. I maybe should have. Like, when I loaded it up, I was thinking, maybe I should have made the... We start with 5 divisions. 5? America, what are you doing? Alright. And one of them is in Panama, because of course it is. Alright, let's train those. Edward VIII, crowned King of Britain. George V, the last King of Great Britain and Ireland to have ruled the home isles themselves, has passed while in exile in Canada. The first Windsor King, his reign shall be remembered with sorrow and sadness, as during it Britain lost both the Welsh Creek and its homeland. Dixie for the win. Improve the South. Place all your currently available units in Chicago. Yeah, that is slightly too gamey for me. Okay, so I was doing a Dungeons and Dragons game where there's a nation state called the Grand and Magnificent City-State of Solus, and they have I was trying to do a Virginia accent because they're supposed to be like fairly posh, fairly upper class, but I didn't want them to just be British. I mean, that's kind of boring, so I made them Virginians, and oh man, my accent was atrocious. It was actually kind of hilarious. On the 3rd of February 1936, the Berlin Stock Exchange stopped sinking. It plunged. Fueled by the instability of the market's panic selling erupted as soon as the stock market opened on Monday morning. Mein Gott! Everything is going bad, but things, of course, here in the USA, already bad. No, everything is good. Everything is totally fine in the US. You have nothing to be concerned about. Everything is fine. What does isolationism actually do? Oh, it's just a very low stability. Free trade, volunteer only. It's only civilian economy. So we don't have the isolation. Is that even a thing in this? It's not. Ah, okay. The Emirate of Afghanistan declared war on the Dominion of India. The anarchistes elected in France. The Commune of France is the world's leading syndicalist nation, united as a federation of city communes and directed by the Comte de Salut Public, the chief executive. Please don't read the old and unrelated new. Yeah, I'm only going to read like the first line or two just so you know what the context is. And after that, I'm just going to... After the Welsh Creek, as the British Raj collapsed into turmoil and warfare, the neighbouring kingdom of Afghanistan took advantage of this as an opportunity to seize the Peshawar and Quetta. Who cares? It's Afghanistan. Country roads, take me home, to the place where I belong. The grand and magnificent city-states of Solus. Exactly. And that was amazing red. Amazingly red. Wow, I can't even speak properly. The Americanness, it's rubbing off on me. Oh, it's paused. Can't be doing that. Black Monday hits America. Despite the political turmoil going on throughout the country, it looked like the economy of the United States might finally be recovering after the Wall Street crash in 1925. However, today the devastating Berlin crash has finally hit America and sent our economy into a downward spiral, yet again. Reid and Long have come out railing against the corrupt bankers who let the crash happen. Curtis and Garner have both pledged to fix the economy should they win the election. This is just not our year. And I also have to really be having to say that I am so happy I have some Lemsip right now, because this is going to absolutely annihilate my voice. Vice President Curtis recovers! Alright. Many in America feared the worst when Vice President Charles Curtis, presumptive Republican nominee to succeed President Hoover, suffered a heart attack earlier this morning. The White House now has finally announced that the Vice President is slowly recovering. Curtis could be the first president of the Native American ancestry, but his poor health seems to be a dark omen for the end of the Hoover administration. Let's hope he will have a good running mate. World premiere of Modern Times. The premiere by Charlie Chaplin's new movie, Modern Times, is attended in New York by personalities such as Jack Reed, Marco Pivert, Philip Snowden, who has come to the USA for the occasion. The comedy film, featuring Chaplin's famous Little Tramp character, is seen as an anti-capitalist and anti-Fordist manifesto in favor of the combined syndicates of America. After a few days, it's censored by the federal government, judged as too provocative so shortly before the election. And then the Battle of the Overpass. Good grief, I'm having to put this American accent on a lot. In Detroit, Michigan, the automotive capital of the world, Walter Reuther and Richard Frankenstein, not Stein but Steen, the leaders of the United Auto Workers Association, called a general strike against the Ford Motor Company and proclaimed themselves for unionism, not Fordism, demanding higher pay and less hours for automotive workers. At 2 p.m. today, a photographer from the Detroit Free Press asked to take a photo of the leaders of the UAW standing on the overpass with the Ford sign in the background. While they were posing, a group of 40 men from the Ford Service Department approached them from behind and began to beat up on them with their batons. The group then continued their attack in some of the beret-wearing women present to pass out leaflets. This will hurt us far more than it hurt the Unionists. If you go with the AUS, you could go with the uber-Christian, uber-racist alternative to Huey. Never saw it happen. Could be fun. Considering how I said that this would be using my own opinions leading up to the election and actually fighting the election, I think that would be a terrible idea. Because that is not how I feel, and that is definitely not how I wish to be represented. So, no. Or maybe I should just do, like, the mood of the time. The mood at the time. Rather than my own modern perspective. That's probably a better idea. So when does this election happen? It happens, it just says 1936. Actually, doesn't it say any elections by event? So no, it doesn't say. Army, are you still training? Army is done training. So the army is now tip-top, extra, special, proper skilled. And logistics, we're getting a fair amount of infantry equipment. Profits from the legation cities following the 1926 German intervention in China and the Treaty of Nanjing signed in November of that year. Foreign trade was left to the richest cities of the coast under the joint control of the world powers, earning interests in China. May the 5th. Aha. So not May the 4th. There's no Star Wars yet. I almost said Star Trek. Oh dear, that would have been bad. All geek cred is hereby revoked. I was about to say Trek, I was like, that's not Star Trek. The 100th anniversary of the Battle of the Alamo. Today marks the 100th anniversary of the Battle of the Alamo, where over 200 brave Texans fought and died for freedom and the newly created Republic of Texas. Remember the Alamo. Oh, is the next Star Wars in a week? Oh, sweet. That should be good. What did I watch recently? It was rather good. Doctor Strange. I watched Doctor Strange recently. It was a good film. I recommend that one. I know it's nothing to do with Star Trek, Star Wars. I don't tend to watch that many films, but Doctor Strange was good. I saw Wonder Woman like 2 or 3 weeks before then. Comic books seem to be ruling currently. On March 16th, 1936, warmer than the usual temperatures led to the melting of large amounts of snow and ice in the upper Allegheny and Monongahela rivers. The rivers and their tributaries had already been over their banks and were now threatening the city of Pittsburgh. On March 17, 1936, the waters reached the flood stage of 25 feet. Overnight, heavy rain caused the water to rise even higher, and on March 18th, the water peaked at about 46 feet, 21 feet above the flood stage. So we should help the people, or they will have to help themselves. What do you think we are, communists? Deal with it. Hey George, did I ever watch Stargate? I'm a massive fan of Stargate. Stargate SG-1 only. I was not a big fan of the other ones, I have to say. Stargate SG-1 was excellent. The first International Congress, representatives from the numerous syndicalist and socialist nations have gathered in Paris today. Well, good for them. I'm kind of curious, has anyone actually voted yet? Results. Oh, yeah, people are voting in the straw poll. So if you have not already put forth your feelings of where this civil war should go, then do let us know in the straw poll. Someone else voted for the other guys. Really? How little you know. I'm happy that the Pacific States are doing quite well. I was very tempted to just say we're going Pacific States. Because I did kind of sort of do AUS, kind of, but then I switched over to the USA when we did the previous Civil War. So Pacific States would be an interesting one. Oh crap, I did say that I was going to be using my own opinions. Whoops, no, I was going for more of the American opinion at the time. Like, communism is bad. Now we know Mordred's opinion on helping Haiti. Oh dear. So yeah, straw poll. If you haven't already checked it out, then see the options and make your voices heard. And also, like, try and convince people in chat. That is totally cool too. The 1936 Stanley Cup. 2 teams have made it to the Stanley Cup finals. The Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs. The winner of this game will be the 1936 NHL champions and will receive the 10th Stanley Cup. Does that make them world champions too? Is that one of those silly things? Who shall win this cup? And no, I am not doing a Canadian accent. I find Canadian accents really difficult to do. I mean, okay, so for Americans, this is probably not so much of a problem. You can probably tell Canadian accents and American accents apart just fine. I struggle. Like, there are certain triggers which I can say, okay, that's definitely a Canadian, but without those, I'm like, North American. Okay, so we've got electronic engineering. I think now we want the mechanical computing. Let's get that going. Let's revive the Rust Belt, guys. Make America great again. I wondered how long it would take me to do one of those. I wondered. The Toronto Maple Leafs win in the 1936 Stanley Cup. Toronto beat Detroit in a 4-game series in the Stanley Cup, bringing the Maple Leafs their 4th victory in the finals. The Red Wings have yet to win the Stanley Cup, but are determined to play hard next season to finally win the cup. Congratulations, Canadians. Caesar shall rise again. Well, Canadians might use the word buddy, but I'm not your buddy, friend. The Mark League declared war on Mongolia. The Indian Citizenship Act of 1936. In order to gain more sympathy from the North and the West, it has been proposed by the Senate and the House that a Indian Citizenship Act be passed, effectively elevating all indigenous peoples of the United States from second-class citizens to full citizenship. Pass the act. Hopefully this will gain us some sympathy, or veto the bill. They're in America. They're coming to America. They're working in America. Sure, pass the act. Hopefully this will gain us some sympathy. Not necessarily just for the sympathy, but they're Americans. They are absolutely 100% Americans. I'm not your friend, buddy. I'm not your friend, guy. I'm not your guy, buddy. Nikki Glace elected chairman of the TUC. Okay, so the British are going to suck. Alemannia Ostasian Gesellschaft declared war on the Republic of China. Ooh, that's an early one. That's... Oh, no it's not. I thought that was going to be Qing. That's a civil war. This could herald bad times for Germany. Although, how reliant is Germany on the AOG for resources and stuff? I mean, there's a fair amount in the south, but then these are all metals, which Germany has lots of. And manpower, which Germany also has a lot of. Not really. I mean, you don't do much with the AOG. At least I don't when I'm playing Germany. How can you read that name? Alemannia Ostasien Gesellschaft. Because I speak German. They're coming to America. Mordred, I think they were here before you. I didn't say they were coming to America. I said they're ready. Okay, I understand what you're saying. I was thinking more about the Irish and the Italians coming to America. When I was saying that about immigration, like who should be Americans. They're here, they want to work, therefore they should be American. It was my mind like spinning ahead of what I was actually saying. I was thinking one thing while still talking about the previous. But I understand the confusion, so I am sorry about that. That's on me. Obviously, the indigenous peoples were here first, the First Nations. Because at this stage, 1930s, that was while like the Italians were coming to the US, I think, right? I mean, the Irish were earlier? I don't remember exactly. Like, that bit's a bit hazy. I'm not sure. The remilitarization of Olitania. The Treaty of Bucharest in 1918 officially ended the Wild Creek for Romania, but at high cost. What generals do we have? Marshall, Bradley, Eisenhower, MacArthur, Hobner, Brooks, Keyes, Wainwright, Stilwell. There's a couple of names there I recognise. Harding. I'm so looking forward to the new DLC actually adding new traits and stuff to generals and field marshals. That's going to be so cool. The trial of Sacco and Vanzetti. The two immigrants from Italy, Sacco and Vanzetti, have been accused of killing a guard and paymaster at the local bank in Braintree, Massachusetts, a town outside of Boston. The case has quickly become a trial of the century, for Sacco and Vanzetti are anarchists. Unsurprisingly, the CSA has come out strongly in favour of the two men, while the American First have come out against them. However the case goes, it looks like this will anger plenty of people. Clearly, they are guilty. Like, anarchists of any kind, guilty. And the last time I did the American thing, I was like, who on earth was Sacco and Vanzetti? And someone explained they were gangsters who were probably innocent, or were innocent. I don't remember the exact reasoning. I was like, actually, we did have to study that in school. I just completely forgot about it. So yes, we do have to learn about American history in school. I think it was when we were doing... What were we studying? It must have been the run-up to the Second World War. Although, what context that would have been used for that, I'm not sure. I have no idea. Like, it's definitely something we had to study. Okay, so we have basic machine tools. Excellent. At this point, I think I am going to go for concentrated industry, because there's no real reason to go dispersed with the Americans.